Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to extend my wishes for a quick recovery and a robust health to Professor Reichman, who is the founder of this university and chairman of the board, Professor Boaz Ganol, president of the Reichman University, Major General in Reserves Amos Gilad, the chair of the Herzliya conference, and members of the university faculty. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished audience, yesterday you started the conference in a moment of silence commemorating all those who have been killed on October 7th and in the Iron Swords War, and I'd like to extend my condolences to their families from this stage. The impact of the Israeli police on the first day of the attack that was forced upon our country is unprecedented in both its scale and magnitude. On October 7, thousands of terrorists were sent to Israel by Hamas, ISIS terrorist organization, from the land, from the air, from the sea, with some very clear instructions, maps, drawings, various means of warfare. The murderous terrorist attacked the citizens of Israel completely armed with a tremendous hatred and a plan to murder. They came to murder, to rape, to mutilate, to burn people alive, to burn homes, to abduct innocent civilians, to injure and to watch these injured people bleeding to death. And what had happened on that terrible Saturday will go down in the history of the State of Israel and as one of the most difficult disasters in the history of our nation. The police officers of the Israeli police were the first at the forefront. They were the first to respond. They fought these murderous terrorists face to face. They protected civilians with their own bodies and stopped this terrible spree of murder. The people of Israel will remember these police officers who stood up heroically, from the tactical unit, from the Homeland Security unit, the Yoav unit, Matpa, the Gidronim unit, the aerial unit, and many, many others, as well as the SWAT team. And of course, the heroism of police officers who usually have classic police positions, whether it's a traffic police officer, an interrogator, a detective, and staff workers in police stations. They found themselves in a mission that wasn't trivial to them, fighting heroically with a tremendous sacrifice. They went out to this bloody battle when they felt this mission, the willingness of their heart and their willingness to strive for contact fearlessly. They showed courage and resourcefulness and continued to function under fire as they rescued civilians from the terrible situation. In the fierce battles of that day, the Israeli police lost some of its best men and women, 57 heroes who stood as a buffer between the murderers and the civilians. Hundreds finished that day of battle injured in both body and soul. Later on in the war, unfortunately, 6 more heroes from the police were killed. The story of their heroism struck a chord in many, many hearts, and the Israeli public learned and saw that the Israel police and the border police officers are what stands between Israelis and terrorism, and the location of the Israeli police in the national security perception was made clear. Following the terrible terror attack on October 7th and the war that started afterwards, the police is deployed all over the country on high alert. This is very hard work conducted 24/7, quite often while taking a great personal risk in addition to the classic policing tasks. In the changing security reality, the Israeli police became versatile with great capabilities for law enforcement, providing service to Israelis and preventing crime and terrorism. It could seem that these missions are contradictory. There are various approaches in schools in which one must maintain specialization, whether it's medicine, law, engineering, and also in the military, in the IDF. The soldiers have specific professional training, but the Israeli police doesn't have the privilege to have this kind of specialization. The challenging reality, existential reality in Israel requires a police force that has an adapted ability to respond to all the challenges. Police officers need to address a broad variety of missions, whether it's community policing and also public order enforcement and also preventing crime and terrorism. Nobody disputes that these missions require a toolbox and different kinds of toolboxes and different mental capabilities. These capabilities have been very well developed in the Israeli police in recent years out of the understanding that the leeway for response for terrorism is immediate, and the first most available force that is out there in real time, a force that can provide security response to various acts of terrorism, that force is the Israeli police. So we've augmented our forces and improved our capabilities. And this is unparalleled in other police forces all over the world, where there are distinctions between different functions. There is no other police that has to manage so many different and complex skills. As I assumed office, I set as a goal to turn the police into a police with adequate means and operational preparedness in order to rise to the challenge of the security responsibility. Following that, there was a great emphasis on improving our operational skills and providing the right munitions and responses to rise to the security challenge. We established the tactical units, the dedicated tactical unit that's supposed to provide a response to any kind of threat. We have additional operational reservist units. We established the Division for Homeland Security, the Yamam, the SWAT team was declared as a national unit, and I did so. I urge this declaration as a special unit designed to fight terrorism, and this was a long journey in order to define them as such. This is a unit that continues to prove time after time that there is no better unit than it in Israel. Proper staff work is being done in order to establish a national guard which will be part of the border police under the Israeli police, as I had demanded from the outset. We need special kind of enforcement tools and means, very sophisticated ones. In my second year as Chief Commissioner, I declared the strengthening of police station out of the understanding that a police station is the milestone, which is the basis for the Israeli police concept of operation. A police station is a symbol of governance and service, and the basic and most important policing functions with respect to the relationship with the citizens are done there. It is the first to respond to terror attacks, just like the one that we experienced last October. There is no doubt that the multiple number of tasks and the ongoing tension has a direct impact on the level of personal security of all Israeli citizens, our resilience as a nation, and also it impacts the resilience of the Israeli police and its ability to rise to the different security challenges. The Israeli society has been put to a test for 2 years now with respect to its national and social resilience. It is true that it has to take on a mission which is highly complex and sensitive. The Israeli police officers quite naturally find themselves time and again separating between the two sides. And as the dispute grows, so does the mutual frustration grow. And often this is expressed in various conducts or statements that is unsuitable to every side. I once again would like to reiterate any exceptional use of unproportional force by the police will be thoroughly interrogated and checked by the right departments. No one doubts that it is our role to maintain the proper balance between the right to protest and freedom of expression and maintaining a proper fabric of life, and we're doing everything we can in order to do so. Unfortunately, recently there's been a lot of incisive and overgeneralizing talk about the police. As a country that seeks to live, we must make sure that our police officers and soldiers do not become our national punching bag. We have no other police force. That's the only police force we have. Of course, we do make mistakes, and I'm aware of every exception and violation, but I can tell you that our police officers don't go to protest out of the purpose to fight and struggle against the protesters. Our police force is not a militia. It's not a private force of any minister. It's one of the best police forces in the world. I've been involved in the field of rioting and public order for decades. In many countries, the issue of spreading public protests has never been filmed well. It never looks nice. The police will never gain sympathy of the public when it needs to clear blockages of roads. But that is our role, and we need to do so in a smart way and to try to use as less force as possible. And I would like to turn on a warning sign for all of us. The police is not a side and will act in order to permit any kind of protest as long as the protest is within the confines of the law. If we try to harm the police, it will undermine its functionality. This makes me lose sleep, and it's obvious to all of us that this will impact the personal safety and security of each and every Israeli citizen. We are standing at an hour of test as a nation, and I would like to call upon to all of us. Let us raise the level of hatred, of divisive talk. These are our police officers. These police officers leave their homes, their families, their children, ready to take on any mission in order to protect Israeli citizens while constantly risking their lives without hesitating to do so for a second. Let's leave the police outside any political discourse, and let's give the police and the police officers the respect they deserve. Let me once again say the Israeli police is not political. It's never been so, and it mustn't be. And this is why it is extremely important, their responsibility to maintain an autonomous and independent Israeli police force. And as I've always said, it only abides by the law. This independence is a cornerstone required by the gatekeepers that are there to protect the rule of law in a democratic state. I am proud of my police officers, and I'd like to extend my personal thank you to the police officers, the reservists, the volunteers, the border police officers, that despite the great challenges and the fact that we are significantly understaffed and all the complicated and difficult missions, they show professionalism and devotion day in, day out of the clear knowledge that the Israeli police has an extremely important role to maintain the safety of all Israeli citizens. In a few days, I will take off my uniform and I will finish my term as the Chief Commissioner of Israeli Police. I finish my term of office with tremendous gratitude for the fact that I was handed such an important task, and an organization that is supposed to protect the safety and security of the State of Israel. The person who will follow after me, I will give him a police force that's as strong as ever, that knows how to stand firm facing any kind of difficulty. And I know that the police officers are the best of the best people in this country. And I'd like to finish with a prayer for the return of all the hostages, the success of the IDF and security forces, and may all those who have been injured recover quickly. Bless you all and enjoy the rest of your conference. Thank you.